Hi friends, how are you? I'm Jerry, and today on my mind is our potential as human beings. And sometimes we see potential in other people, and sometimes we don't. We tend to want to judge a book by its cover, judge by outward appearances, but sometimes we get some insight, we see something in someone else that they don't see in themselves. And just a small idea of what I'm talking about is that the other day I had a friend tell me that she liked my videos and she liked listening to me speak. She felt some comfort and peace in that. And I'm very flattered and I thank her, but I detest listening to myself speak because I just am like, oh, I have such a hag voice. And that's not what she was hearing. So I think it's so cool and so important to, when you see something within somebody else, you see something that you like or admire, tell them, because oftentimes we don't know. We don't know how other people perceive us. And it's not always positive, and that's okay too. But it's really neat to share those things. And keeping in mind that we will probably never realize the full potential of who God created us to be. He created each one of us with so much potential, with so many gifts, so many attributes, like positive attributes and talents. And He created us to be the best possible version of ourselves, like such a great, amazing, beautiful, perfect example of who you could be is in God's mind when He creates you. And we're never going to see that or realize that, but that's what God sees when He looks at us, and He sees our hearts. And I'm reminded of the story in 1 Samuel where God is sending Samuel, who's like a prophet, seer, godly man. He's sending him to Jesse because he's going to pick his next king of Israel from Jesse's sons. Now, Samuel doesn't know who it's going to be, but he knows that when he meets Jesse's sons, that God's going to tell him this one. So he goes to Jesse, and Jesse starts bringing his sons out, and Samuel's just seeing these strapping, handsome, strong, regal looking young men and thinking, surely this is him. But God is like, nope, not him. Nope, not him. Nope, not him. 7 times. And so He says in 1 Samuel 16:7, do not look at his appearance or at the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And so Samuel says, Jesse, do you have any more sons anywhere? And Jesse's like, yeah, I got one more out in the fields tending the sheep. And so it's like, well, bring him here. So they go and get him and bring him before Samuel. And God tells Samuel, yes, this is the one. This is him. This is the future king of Israel. So even Jesse didn't see that potential in his own son, which is pretty interesting. And then Samuel didn't know either. It was God's knowledge and God's choice. And not that He didn't have special plans for each of the other sons, because He has wonderful plans to prosper each one of us and not to harm us. But a lot of our potential and our lives and our futures are up to us because of that dang free will. But anyway, super cool that God sees something that no one else sees, and He loves you and has made you for great things. And today I also saw a cute little picture, not handy enough with my super old cell phone yet to be able to turn it around and show you, but it's a picture of Snoopy and Charlie Brown hugging each other, and there's a heart. and it says, "The loyalty of dogs prove there is human potential." And that sort of smacks me in the heart today because during this time of COVID, we have lost 2 dogs this year, including one that we just lost last month. And so I'm missing my little loves, missing my little companions, and have felt a bit lonely. But I just remember and know how much those little dogs love us so much, just like unconditional love, even when we ignore them, even when we're grumpy, even when we look super ugly and we just got out of bed. Whatever it is, those little dogs, just like we are their world. We were their world, and we're not really deserving of how much they look at us like we are everything. Now, God is not like a dog, but He does have unconditional love for us. And He does look at us once we have chosen Him and accepted His gift of salvation in Christ Jesus, which He freely gives. He looks at us as if we're flawless, as if we have never sinned. And that is just so beautiful and such a gift. And I hope that you will contemplate that today. And I hope that you will be blessed and have a wonderful day. And I'll see you next time.